Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about relationships. Not the fairy tales we see on screen, but the real-life connections we walk into every day. And sometimes, those connections come wrapped in red flags disguised as roses. Today, we're breaking down 6 signs you might be dating a narcissist. First, they come in like a storm, bold, charming, irresistible. They know how to light up a room and make you feel like the only person in the world. But here's the catch. It's a performance. Charm, without substance, is just decoration on an empty room. Second, they have a way of making control feel like care. They'll tell you what to wear, where to go, and who to be around, all while claiming it's for your good. But love doesn't suffocate, it liberates. Third, let's talk about your emotions. With a narcissist, your feelings often take a back seat. Your joy, your pain, your needs, they're not the focus. Somehow, the spotlight always finds its way back to them. And then, there's accountability, or the lack of it. A narcissist rarely admits they're wrong. They'd rather twist the truth than own their faults. And when they do apologize, it's strategic, not sincere. It's strategic, not sincere. So why does this matter? Because you deserve love that's real. You deserve a partner who sees you, hears you, and respects you. Don't settle for someone who shines so brightly that you forget your own light. Remember, it's not about pointing fingers. It's about protecting your heart. Be aware, be wise, and most of all, be true to yourself. Thank you. Charm is a trait we're naturally drawn to. It captivates, excites, and often disarms. In the right hands, charm can be genuine, a reflection of warmth, kindness, and sincerity. But when it's wielded by a narcissist, it becomes a weapon, a tool for manipulation that masks their true intentions. The charm of a narcissist is not just a personality trait. It's a calculated strategy designed to ensnare, control, and ultimately benefit them at your expense. From the moment they walk into your life, they seem larger than life. They say the right things at the right time, leaving you wondering how someone could be so attuned to your desires and emotions. They're charismatic, funny, and often possess a magnetic presence that draws people to them like moths to a flame. This initial charm can feel intoxicating, even exhilarating, and it's easy to mistake it for something deeper: love, respect, or admiration. But this charm isn't about you, it's about them. It's a tool to lure you into their orbit, to make you believe you found someone extraordinary. Narcissists use charm to create an illusion of perfection. They're experts at crafting a narrative where they appear to be the ideal partner or friend. They'll listen intently to your stories, mirror your interests, and shower you with compliments that feel almost too good to be true. And in many ways, they are. Their charm is often superficial, a thin veneer designed to mask their underlying lack of empathy and genuine emotional connection. In relationships, this charm often manifests as love bombing, a term that describes an overwhelming display of affection, attention, and gifts early on. The narcissist may flood you with texts, surprise you with grand gestures, and make you feel like you're the center of their universe. It feels magical, like a whirlwind romance straight out of a movie. But this charm isn't a reflection of their feelings for you. It's a means to an end. Natasha's, it is in your best interests to be loved for you. It's by making you feel special, they gain your trust and loyalty, ensuring you're hooked before the cracks in their facade start to show. As the relationship progresses, the true purpose of their charm becomes clearer. It's not about creating a mutual bond, but about maintaining control. Narcissists thrive on admiration and validation, and their charm is a way to secure both. They'll use their charisma to win over not just you, but everyone around you, your friends, family, and colleagues. This ensures that if you ever question their behavior or try to expose their manipulative tendencies, others will be less likely to believe you. After all, how could someone so charming and likable possibly be the villain? Another hallmark of a narcissist's charm is its selective nature. They know how to turn it on and off depending on the situation. In public or around people they want to impress, they'll be the life of the party, engaging, entertaining, and attentive. But behind closed doors, their demeanor can shift dramatically. The same person who was showering you with praise one moment might become cold, dismissive, or even cruel the next. This inconsistency can leave you feeling confused and questioning your own perceptions. What makes their charm particularly insidious is how it plays on your vulnerabilities. Narcissists are adept at identifying what you crave emotionally, whether it's love, validation, or a sense of belonging, and using their charm to provide it. They make you feel seen, understood, and valued in ways you may never have experienced before. But this is not because they genuinely care about you. It's because it is their aim, it's because they've recognized your emotional needs and figured out how to exploit them for their benefit. Over time, the weight of their charm can become suffocating. What once felt like attention and affection starts to feel like control and manipulation. You might find yourself constantly trying to live up to the idealized version of yourself they created during the honeymoon phase. Their charm, once a source of joy, becomes a tool of coercion, used to keep you in line and maintain their dominance in the relationship. And yet, despite all this, it can be incredibly difficult to see their charm for what it truly is. Part of what makes narcissists so effective in their manipulation is their ability to make you doubt your own instincts. Even when their actions contradict their words, their charm can make you second-guess yourself, wondering if you're overreacting or being unreasonable. It transcended all rules of ethics and maneuver. They do it. This cognitive dissonance keeps you trapped, as you cling to the memory of their initial charm, hoping that the person you fell for will re-emerge. In addition to abstracting things from your memory, their charm also serves as a shield against accountability. When confronted with their behavior, a narcissist will often revert to their charming persona, using humor, flattery, or even feigned vulnerability to deflect blame. They might apologize in a way that feels sincere at the moment, but ultimately lacks any real substance. Their charm becomes a means of resetting the dynamic, ensuring that the focus shifts away from their wrongdoing and back to the illusion of the perfect partner. In the end, the charm of a narcissist is a double-edged sword. It's what draws you in and makes you stay, even when the relationship begins to take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. It's a weapon, skillfully wielded to disarm you, control you, and ensure that their needs are always prioritized above your own. Control isn't always loud and overt. Sometimes it whispers in soft tones and disguises itself as care. It doesn't always come with commands or demands. Instead, it slips in under the guise of concern, helpfulness, or affection. When someone's control hides behind kindness, it becomes difficult to recognize because it feels good at first. It feels comforting, like someone is looking out for you, ensuring your best interests are always at the forefront. Round 9. But beneath the surface lies a subtle, insidious grip, designed not to empower you, but to tether you to their will. When control masquerades as kindness, it often starts small. A partner might offer to help you make decisions, framing it as an act of love or concern. They'll say things like, "I just want what's best for you," or "I'm only saying this because I care." At first, it feels like they're invested in your well-being. You might even appreciate their input, mistaking their interference for thoughtfulness. But over time, these acts of kindness start to chip away at your autonomy. What once felt like support begins to feel like subtle manipulation, a way for them to steer your choices without outright demanding it. For example, they might suggest what you should wear, couching it in compliments or concern. "You look great in that dress, but maybe wear something less revealing tonight. It's just because I don't want other people to get the wrong idea." Or they might dictate your social interactions under the pretense of protecting you. "I'm not sure that friend has your best interests at heart. Maybe you should spend less time with them. I'm just looking out for you." These statements seem benign on the surface, even caring, but they're often rooted in a desire to isolate you or mold you into what they find acceptable. Control hiding behind kindness often involves setting boundaries that appear to be for your benefit, but actually serve their agenda. For instance, they might offer to handle certain aspects of your life, managing your finances, organizing your schedule, or making decisions about shared responsibilities. Initially, this can feel like a relief, as though they're lightening your load, but as time goes on, you may find that they've assumed control over areas of your life that you should have a say in. Their help becomes a way to limit your independence, ensuring that you remain reliant on them. What makes this dynamic so difficult to identify is that the person exerting control often frames their behavior as selfless. They'll emphasize how much they're doing for you, painting themselves as the caring partner or friend who's always there to support you. If you push back or express discomfort, they may act hurt, accusing you of being ungrateful or misunderstanding their intentions. "I'm only trying to help. Why are you making it so hard for me to care about you?" This guilt-tripping reinforces their control, making you question your own perceptions and feel indebted to their kindness. Another hallmark of control hidden behind kindness is the way it erodes your confidence. By positioning themselves as the expert or protector in your life, the controlling person subtly undermines your ability to trust yourself. They might offer advice or make decisions on your behalf, claiming that they know what's best. Over time, you may start to doubt your own judgment, relying on them to validate your choices or provide direction. This dependency isn't accidental, it's a carefully cultivated dynamic that ensures their influence remains intact. In many cases, this type of control is reinforced through acts of generosity or affection. They might shower you with gifts, attention, or compliments, creating a sense of obligation. "After everything I've done for you, the least you can do is trust me on this," they might say. These gestures of kindness are not without strings. They come with an unspoken expectation of compliance. The more they give, the harder it becomes to assert your own needs or boundaries without feeling like you're being unreasonable or ungrateful. Control, disguised as kindness, also thrives on unpredictability. The person exerting control might alternate between warmth and withdrawal, keeping you on edge and eager to please. When they're kind and attentive, it reinforces the idea that their behavior is rooted in love. But when they're cold or distant, it creates a sense of insecurity, making you more likely to seek their approval. This push and pull dynamic ensures that you remain focused on maintaining their favor rather than questioning their motives or asserting your independence. This ultimately drives the problem unless you propose solutions, such as resolutions or promises to keep peace. In some cases, this control extends to your thoughts and beliefs. The person may frame their opinions as superior, subtly dismissing or invalidating your perspective. "I'm just being honest with you," they might say, "and I think you're seeing this the wrong way." Over time, this erodes your sense of self, making you more susceptible to their influence. Their honesty becomes a tool to reshape your worldview, aligning it with their preferences and priorities. Self-awareness is a deeper problem. Aligning it with their preferences and priorities. Ultimately, control, hiding behind kindness, creates a web of manipulation that's difficult to untangle. It relies on subtlety, blending care and control so seamlessly that the lines between the two become blurred. By presenting themselves as a source of support, the controlling person gains your trust and loyalty, making it harder to recognize their behavior as harmful. In a healthy relationship, emotions are a two-way street. Your feelings matter just as much as your partner's, creating a balance where both parties feel valued, heard, and supported. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, that balance is skewed, sometimes to the point of non-existence. Your feelings become secondary, an afterthought in a relationship that revolves entirely around their needs, desires, and validation. What makes this dynamic so harmful is that it doesn't usually start with outright dismissal. Instead, it's a gradual erosion of your emotional significance, replaced by their endless appetite for attention. From the very beginning, a narcissist often seems attentive, even overly so. They ask about your life, your dreams, and your struggles, making you feel like you've finally found someone who truly understands you. This initial phase can feel intoxicating, as though your emotions and experiences are being held in a spotlight for the first time. But this attention is not born of genuine care. It's part of a strategy. By showing interest in your feelings early on, they gain your trust and ensure that you let your guard down. Once that trust is secured, the focus shifts away from you and squarely onto them. They grow your intimacy across that barrier slowly until they grow with it. This is the transition from playing checkers to playing golf. As the relationship progresses, you may start to notice that every conversation somehow circles back to them. If you share something important, whether it's a success, a fear, or a painful experience, they might briefly acknowledge it before redirecting the discussion. You tell them about a stressful day at work, and instead of offering comfort, they counter with an anecdote about their own hardships. If you express excitement about a personal achievement, they might downplay it or find a way to one-up you. Over time, This pattern makes it clear your feelings are not the priority. One of the more subtle ways a narcissist diminishes your emotions is through invalidation. When you express hurt or frustration, they might respond with phrases like, "You're being too sensitive," or "You're overreacting." These statements, though seemingly minor, carry a powerful message. Your feelings are unreasonable and therefore unimportant. This dismissal not only silences your emotions, but also plants seeds of self-doubt. You begin to question your reactions, wondering if you're truly as irrational or dramatic as they make you feel. Gaslighting often accompanies this invalidation, further eroding your confidence in your own emotions. For instance, if you confront them about something hurtful they said or did, they might deny it ever happened, claim you're misremembering, or suggest you're misinterpreting their intentions. "I didn't mean it like that," they might say, or "You're making something out of nothing." These tactics are designed to make you second-guess your perspective, shifting the focus away from their behavior and onto your supposed shortcomings. Narcissist disregard for your feelings often becomes even more apparent during conflicts. In a healthy relationship, disagreements are opportunities for growth and understanding. Both partners listen, validate each other's emotions, and work toward a resolution. But with a narcissist, conflicts are one-sided. They might dismiss your concerns as trivial or accuse you of being the problem. "Why are you always trying to start something?" they might say, deflecting blame and avoiding accountability. If they do acknowledge your feelings, it's often in a way that feels insincere or transactional, designed to end the argument rather than address the underlying issue. In some cases, a narcissist may weaponize your emotions against you. If you express vulnerability, they might use it as ammunition later, mocking or criticizing you for the very feelings you shared in confidence. For example, if you confide in them about a past insecurity, they might bring it up during an argument to undermine you. This betrayal of trust reinforces the idea that your emotions are not safe in their hands, further isolating you and discouraging you from opening up. Another way a narcissist minimizes your feelings is by comparing them to their own. If you express sadness, they'll claim they've had it worse. If you're excited about something, they'll overshadow your joy with their own accomplishments. This constant need to outshine you creates a dynamic where your emotions are always eclipsed, leaving you feeling invisible and unimportant. Perhaps most damaging is the way a narcissist's behavior can make you internalize their disregard for your emotions. Over time, you may start to devalue your own feelings, convincing yourself that they're not worth addressing, or that they'll only lead to conflict. This self-suppression can be devastating, leading to a sense of emptiness and disconnection from your own needs and desires. You might find yourself walking on eggshells, constantly prioritizing their happiness and approval over your own well-being. Even in moments where you manage to assert your feelings, a narcissist will often find ways to regain control. They might feign interest, offering surface-level validation that never translates into meaningful change. Or they might turn the tables, accusing you of being selfish for focusing on your emotions. "All you care about is yourself," they might say, projecting their own self-centeredness onto you. This tactic not only deflects responsibility, but also reinforces the idea that your feelings are secondary to theirs. Control is at the heart of a narcissist's disregard for your emotions. By minimizing your feelings, they maintain dominance in the relationship, ensuring that their needs remain the focus. Your emotions, no matter how valid or significant, become tools for manipulation rather than opportunities for connection. In a relationship, an apology can be a powerful tool. It acknowledges hurt, repairs trust, and shows vulnerability. A sincere apology signals growth and a willingness to take responsibility for one's actions. However, when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, apologies are a rare commodity. They're not offered as a means of healing or reconciliation, but are instead reserved for moments when the narcissist feels cornered, often only as a way to reset the dynamics or avoid consequences. Apologies from a narcissist tend to be shallow, manipulative, and fleeting, creating an environment where accountability is scarce and forgiveness becomes conditional. The heart of a narcissist's reluctance to apologize is their deep-seated need to maintain a sense of superiority. A narcissist is driven by an inflated self-impression and a constant need for validation, which means that admitting wrongdoing feels like an attack on their very identity. To apologize would be to concede a loss of control, to acknowledge they are fallible, and that's something they simply cannot accept. Their sense of self is fragile, and admitting fault threatens that fragile image. The more sensitive a person is, the greater his or her need for solitude. Sometimes this need is physical and dieteric. Instead of taking responsibility for their behavior, narcissists often employ a range of tactics to avoid apologizing altogether. They may deflect, deny, or minimize their actions, making you question whether an apology is even warranted. For example, if you confront them about something they've done that hurt you, they might respond by downplaying the situation. "It wasn't that bad," they might say. Or they'll accuse you of being overly sensitive or misinterpreting their intentions. This serves to shift the blame back onto you and away from their behavior. Rather than taking accountability, they place the burden of emotional labor on you. Speak up for yourself. Speak up. Speak up with everything you have. Even if a narcissist does offer an apology, it's often empty and self-serving. They might say, "I'm sorry you feel that way," which sounds like an apology but isn't one. This kind of apology takes no responsibility for their actions and instead suggests that your feelings are the problem, not their behavior. By framing the apology in terms of your feelings, they avoid any real accountability. The apology is merely a way to placate you and avoid further confrontation, rather than a genuine attempt to repair the damage done. Narcissists are skilled at manipulating the apology process, turning it into a tool of control rather than reconciliation. When they do apologize, it is often because they need to maintain the peace or regain favor. If they've been caught in a lie or exposed for something they've done wrong, they might offer a quick and hollow apology, not to heal the relationship, but to diffuse the immediate tension. They may apologize only to get you off their back or to avoid the consequences of their actions, but there is little to no genuine remorse behind the words. It's all about restoring their image and keeping you in their orbit, which is not an easy task. This lack of sincerity can be particularly damaging over time. When apologies are offered but never backed by real change or self-reflection, they lose their meaning entirely. A narcissist may apologize repeatedly for the same behaviors without any intention of altering them. These empty apologies become part of the cycle of manipulation, where you are led to believe that their words are an indication of their willingness to change, even though their actions contradict those words. The apology itself becomes a performance, a brief moment of verbal appeasement to restore the power dynamic, but without any real substance. In many cases, a narcissist will also use apologies to gaslight you into believing that the problem lies with you. When you express hurt or frustration, they might frame the issue in a way that makes you question your feelings. "I'm sorry you're upset, but I didn't mean to hurt you," they might say, subtly implying that your emotional response is the real problem. This type of apology makes you feel guilty for feeling hurt in the first place, shifting the focus from their actions to your emotions. This manipulation is designed to confuse you, making it harder to discern whether their apology is even genuine. Sometimes the apology is coupled with promises of change. A narcissist might assure you that they've learned their lesson and will do better next time. However, these promises are often empty. Their behavior rarely changes because their motivations remain unchanged. The apology and promises of improvement are simply tactics to keep you invested and to prevent you from questioning the relationship. Once the heat of the moment passes, they will often revert to their old patterns, reinforcing the idea that their apology was just a way to calm the waters, rather than a real commitment to change. In cases where the narcissist is particularly manipulative, the apology may even be part of a larger pattern of love bombing. After a period of emotional neglect or cruelty, they might suddenly shower you with affection and remorse, using the apology as a way to win back your trust and affection. This cycle of hurt and reconciliation keeps you hooked, always hoping that the next apology will be the real turning point, that the next promise of change will stick. Unfortunately, it rarely does. The cycle continues, and the narcissist's sense of self-preservation remains intact. What makes the absence of genuine apologies particularly damaging is that it can leave you feeling isolated and unheard. In any healthy relationship, an apology is a way to express empathy and acknowledge the pain caused by one's actions. But in the world of a narcissist, apologies are transactional. They exist not to heal wounds, but to restore the balance of power and ensure that you remain invested in the relationship. When apologies are rarely given, and when they come with strings attached, you may begin to internalize the idea that your needs and emotions are unimportant. reinforcing the unhealthy dynamic in which you're perpetually trying to prove that you matter.